Tonight on Joy News Prime, the minority in Parliament is calling on the Auditor General to open an audit into processes leading to the supposed transfer of 600 million cedis to the Bank of Ghana and how 36 million Ghana cedis was spent on the Agenda 111 project. But the governing New Patriotic Party says the NDC is only trying to discredit the government Agenda 111. We'll bring you details. Also, if you're worried that you could not take the Johnson & Johnson vaccine today, the Ghana Health Service is assuring the vaccination exercise will only end when the doses are exhausted.
Is to use all the vaccines, so we are not rigid about when it's ending.
Pass the licensure exam or forget about teaching, the Education Minister to teachers that failed in the recent examination, as government insists it will not lower the standard.
Came to me that students didn't do well. They brought me sample responses. And Mr. President, it's important that we hold ourselves accountable to a certain standard. That if you want to teach, we need to help you.
Later in business, the call for cybersecurity to take center stage in boardrooms of businesses. We have more from the 2021 Executive Insight Conference organized by Innova in collaboration with Joy Business. And later here on Joy News Prime, we ask the question, is Ghana hard?
We are not frightened of your man. We know he cannot give your child an education. If you are sitting here somewhere and they keep telling you, oh, it's bad, oh, there's corruption, oh, Ghana is hard, then sometimes you think it's true. So we have to speak back.
That's the Albabian Samoa, but what do you think? Go onto our Facebook page. We're asking that question. I want to hear your response to that. Is Ghana hard? My name is Ernest Min, and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our studios here at Fano Fine Kukumlemle Accra. You're on your digital TV because you are free to air. DSTV channel 421, Go TV 144. This is your home of independent, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. Stay with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's settle for the details now. The minority in Parliament is calling on the Auditor General, Johnson Ekuamoah-Esiedu, to open an audit into processes leading to the supposed transfer of 600 million Ghana cedis to the Bank of Ghana, and also how 36 million Ghana cedis was expended under the Agenda 111 project. They are warning failure to do so in the next 2 weeks will leave them with no option than to collect signatures from members of Parliament to trigger a recall of Parliament to investigate the issue. The minority first raised this concern after government launched the Agenda 111, which is expected to deliver each district a world-class hospital. The government said the project will cost about $17 million. That's 16.88 exactly at each of the 88 districts that were ready to take over the time of the launch. But the ranking member on the Health Committee of Parliament, Kwabna Minta Kando, insists even before the launch, monies had already been expended and governments must render proper account.
This is just the beginning. If they think that by this letter the matter is coming to an end, I'm sorry, they'll be disappointed, because this is just the beginning of the whole thing. And there are a lot of questions that must be answered than the answers they have provided. I mean, how can you caption money that has not been spent as utilized or released? And we are talking about money that was released and spent in 2020, not 2021. So you couldn't have corrected that in the 2021 main budget. You couldn't do that in the 2021 mid-year review budget. Now we are told that these monies were moved from the consolidated funds and now has found itself in the Ghana Infrastructure Fund. How it got there are a lot of questions to be answered. Now, this is what we are going to do. We are going to go in a direction where the Ministry of Health will be summoned before Parliament. Because you see, before any money will be released for the purposes of operation for the Ministry of Health, there should be a warrant that will be generated from somewhere. Was a warrant generated from the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Finance will be invited, the Controller will be invited, Bank of Ghana will be invited, Ghana Infrastructure Fund will be invited, and we are going to do the tracing of the money and get to its final destination. If indeed the money is there, praise the Lord, assuming that the caption is a wrong language or is a mistaken language, what is important is that we must trace the money. Who issued what warrant? Who issued what instruction for controller to do what?
The Finance Ministry issued a statement explaining that the 600 million cedis has been transferred to the Bank of Ghana and explained how the other 36 million cedis was expended. But the Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. John Kumah, has been addressing the concerns of the minority. And a while ago on Joy FM on Top Story, he did indicate that by close of day tomorrow, government will provide details, first of all, of the transfer of the 600 million cedis and also other details on how the 36 million was expended. Your trusted news source journalists will follow up on this and will bring you those details. But as you may know, there's a politics of it, and the governing New Patriotic Party says the NDC is only trying to discredit the Agenda 111 project. The NDC minority in Parliament raised issues about the funding for the project, alleging that 600 million cedis had been spent without proper accounts. At a news conference today, Communications Director of the NPP, Yabo Abiyansamwa, argued that the project is the biggest investment ever seen in the country, adding that when completed, it will deal a blow to the electoral fortunes of the NDC.
The latest no from the NDC is Agenda 111. The most ambitious and value for money health infrastructural project ever done in our country's history. This is by far the biggest health intervention ever since the NHIS in 2003, which was also the biggest ever in Ghana's history at that time. It is all MPP. Remember that. It is all MPP. So if the people of Ghana want Ghana to be transformed, then they should look no further. Akufo-Addo is giving you almost 3 district hospitals at the price of 1 by John Mahama, under whom the average cost was around $45 million. The commencement of works, as you witnessed at Trade towards Agenda 111, represents a major departure from the piecemeal approach to health service delivery. MPP expects Agenda 111 to benefit directly over 7 million underserved Ghanaians. Grafted onto the existing network of CHIPS compounds, polytechnics, private sector facilities, and regional and teaching hospitals, the vision of Nana-Addo will ultimately result in every Ghanaian everywhere accessing quality health services at minimal cost. So, what is Agenda 111? What does it mean to you? It is about the future. Your future. My future. Our future. The future of our unborn Ghanaian children. That is what Agenda 111 is about.
Yabo Abiyansamwa has also been responding to some of the concerns of the NDC and the minority in Parliament over the funding and the cost of the project.
Have a quick look at the Honorable Kwabena Minta Akando's past questions and answers press conference. His full title, because I'm going to look at his press conference, let me quote his full title. He's the MP for Dwaboso and ranking member on the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health. I'll try and quote his questions and then answer as best as I can. So question, quote, the minority in Parliament would like to call on the Akufo-Addo administration to expeditiously account for a colossal sum of 636 million already utilized on the Agenda 111 projects. Answer. Yesterday, when they did trade, I think it was 2 days ago, marked the commencement of works on 87 sites out of the 111 sites under Agenda 111. 87 sites out of the 111, all under Agenda 111. That's 111 separate sites. Instead of being happy for all of us, the minority is accusing government of chopping project money. The 636 million, as detailed in Appendix 4D and 4E of the 2021 mid-year budget review, will all go to deliver Agenda 111 for you. Unlike the NDC, a proper government like the MPP does not chop what has not been disbursed. The work done so far over the last 12 months and over to ensure that a district capital hospital with up to 100 beds can be delivered at $16.8 million rather than the $45 million or so dollars under the Mahama NDC. And in preparing those sites for 111 projects, it has cost us $36 million. We call it ensuring value for money. The 87 sites, soil testing, quantity surveying, everything. Question. The NDC says no mobilizations will be paid to contractors before commencement of works. Answer. Contractors are entitled to an advance payment of 10% of their contract sums, subject to meeting conditions specified for the payment of the amount. Any contractor wishing to take advantage of this contract condition needs to submit an advance payment bank guarantee equivalent to the value of the amount. Question. The minority thinks that allocating a budget of $16.88 million per hospital or $1.7 billion for the 101 district hospitals is woefully inadequate and raises issues about the standard of hospitals government wants to build.
Again, according to the former Denta MP, the sheer number of jobs that will be created alongside the project makes it imperative for all well-meaning Ghanaians to support it.
Agenda 111 will bring you a job. If you're a doctor, you will get a job. If you're a nurse, you will get a job. If you're a lab technician, you will get a job. If you're a pharmacist, you will get a job. If you're a receptionist, you will get a job. If you're a cleaner, you will get a job. An accountant, a driver, gardener, typist, electrician, cook, washman, security man, IT specialist, you will get a job. If you're a mortuary man, you will get a job.
Away from that, the Greater Accra Regional Directorate on Friday embarked on an inspection of the Agbibloshi market, specifically where the onion sellers were evacuated from. According to the regional minister, the area would be used for the construction of an ultra-modern hospital and the government's Agenda 111 initiative.
Has made solid gains, but that is not enough. The people were not relocated to go and suffer, but the people were relocated to go and operate in a humane environment. So today, at Ajin Kotoku, business is booming. The environment that they are doing business is much, much better compared to this place. Now comes the question, what are we going to use this place for? Mr. President thinks, no, we will not reclaim the land and misuse the land. The people must benefit. The parcel of land that we reclaimed, Mr. President has directed that Agenda 111, that is a hospital designed to be located in some parts across the country, also comes here.
Meanwhile, the Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Siasari, who was also present, explained the hospital would relieve the burden on the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Advantage and the importance or the impact of this is that we are going to bring health accessible to the people where they are. The one here at Abrikuma Central is going to serve a big community. And as the minister said, there are about 40,000 people who come to Abrikuma on a daily basis. It's Abosokai. And this is going to be a hospital which will then relieve Kolebu to do what Kolebu is supposed to do. Kolebu is a teaching hospital. It's one of the top hospitals in this country. So Kolebu will then concentrate on specialized clinical care, training of our medical health professionals, and also doing research in the medical conditions that they see. And these hospitals will then take care of the primary care activities that is in the area and refer to Kolebu. I'm very sure and very clear in my mind that this is going to minimize no bed syndrome in most of our big hospitals. And we are doing this across the country. It's not in only one region or one district. It's across the 16 regions in the country and across the 260 districts in this country. So anywhere there's no hospital, there's going to be a hospital. And that's what it's supposed to be.
So the New Patriotic Party has accused the opposition NDC of fueling a perception of hardship in the country. The governing party's Director of Communications, Yabo Abiyansamwa, believes that the country is in a good state and that President Akufo-Addo is working hard to increase productivity and improve livelihoods. Listen to him.
Writing of your mama. We know he cannot give your child an education. We know he cannot give you good health. He will collapse NHIS. We know he cannot manage the economy. Interest rates will go up, inflation will go up, growth will drop, he will go back to the IMF. We know he will do all those things. So we can't let him poison your mind. Because if you are sitting here somewhere and they keep telling you, oh, it's bad, oh, there's corruption, oh, Ghana is hard, then sometimes you think it's true. Sometimes you think it's true. So we have to speak back. We have to tell you what it is. We have to let you know what we are doing. And it's so important that you know what we are doing and that we are doing it for your benefit. We have to protect the Fourth Republic.
So we put that question to you, is Ghana hard? And some of you have been commenting on our Facebook page. Let me go to the touch screen now and present a few of the comments to you. Francis Kilson says, the only cheap commodity in Ghana is talking. Simon also says, harder than stubborn Willie. Those of you who know Willie, that's the skin of, the cow. Kwame Apia J, can I have Kwame Apia J's comment? Kwame Apia J says, hard, even better. Ghana is super hard. Hard is even better. Ghana is super hard. So that's his comment on that. Anna says, very, very, very hard. That is Anna's comment on this as well. And let me take this one from Abdullah. No government in the history of Ghana has ever given workers 4% salary increment, except this current administration. If you get to corrupt yourself, you will say things are not. Workers also use their yearly increment to adjust themselves financially. Winfred says, Ghana is very hard and no amount of lies will prevail. They should come out and speak the truth and stop this propaganda. Amega says the reality of the hardship in the country is speaking for itself. Hence, no amount of lies and deception in the form of propaganda will prevail. If you know, you know, with laughing emojis. Kadil says, because some of you have siphoned the public purse at the expense of the masses, you say whatever you want. Let me have some more comments. And Justice says, Ghana is hard. So those are some of your comments here on Facebook. And if you're watching us, you can also go onto our Facebook page, Joy News. We have the video there. You can watch it and then just respond to the question, is Ghana hard? We'll bring you more of those comments here on Joy News Prime. Let's move on and do some other stories. Many residents who turned up today at various centers for the Johnson & Johnson jabs were disappointed again when they had to go home because of the shortage. Even though health officials had described it as the most successful rollout, oversubscription left several people without jabs. Mamiesi Thompson has more.
At the Mamprobi Hospital, residents who had been disappointed the day before had returned very early, hoping to get the jobs. Nurses had adopted a numbering strategy to keep order. However, after waiting several hours, many had still not received their shots.
I want my place, no injection. So
where's your place?
Sabonzongo. I go there, no injection. So I come back to Mamplobi, other I get some to do it. Now I come see plenty of people there inside Mamplobi community. So I don't know whether I get it or not. That is my problem. I told the government to help us to get it.
First place, there's a misunderstanding. Some misunderstanding came on, but right now we have settled everything. Everything is going right, and right now we have formed a queue. So we are going to the queue, yeah.
Because we are in the queue, then suddenly I see some people, enter in the queue. So from there, I come angry. That's why I make noise. They don't see anything. They didn't see anything. They just say we should sit down, then write number, then we collect the number. Then suddenly I see some people, cutting the queue, So now from there I come angry.
So right now what's going on? Everything is...
No. Immediately when I make the noise, everything come down.
Over 6,000 vaccines allocated to the Accra Metro District ran out Thursday. They were able to acquire an additional 250 for today, but it got finished before 2 p.m. A few were lucky.
We're just taking it just to protect ourselves. So I think it's a good initiative, and we are hoping everybody should also participate in order to help at least protect ourselves. Because we were told they brought about I think they were going to serve about 200 and something. So I'm surprised when they were complaining that there is a shortage. But then I don't know the number that they just submitted to the nurse, the one who is taking the injection, but that's what they told us.
We came here around 4:30 there, and we were given a number to join the queue. So it was normal, although there was stress and then struggles, but it was okay. The nurse, the leader of the nurse, he tried his best. She tried her best to make sure that there is peace and everything was okay.
At a point, nurses had to calm residents while soliciting vaccines from other centers. Sub-Metro Health Director for Ablekuma South, Dr. Charlotte Alberta Cato, gave some assurances that additional vaccines will be coming in next week.
Once we have been able to vaccinate so many people in the community, at least going forward, the cases that will be coming will be less severe than it has been before. And hopefully we'll get out of being a hotspot. I'll continue to encourage people that yes, we all need to get vaccinated. We have just done a fraction, it's less than 1%. 6,450, 470 is just about 1% of my total population. And so they shouldn't lose hope. It's not that because they couldn't get vaccinated this time around, they should fall back when the next batch of vaccines come. But once we start mobilizing again that vaccines have come, they should come with the same zeal that they have come now. And hopefully we'll be able to cover more people to get us out of the hot zone state.
The Ghana Health Service says the ongoing vaccination of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will not end today till they exhaust all the doses. The vaccination started this week in Accra and was expected to end today. But the Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esedu-Bakwin, says they will keep the inoculation ongoing.
That our plan is to use all the vaccines, so we are not rigid about when it's ending. So, the idea was that let's get a campaign mode to exhaust this in 5 days. But that doesn't mean that exercise is ending, so it's not ending. So far as we have some vaccines left, we'll continue.
So how many days more are we adding to it? Or
No, what I said is we are not saying how many days. Our idea is to exhaust the vaccines. So as far as we have some vaccines available, we use them.
But do we have some? Yesterday we reported of some shortages in some districts. Do we still have the J&J or we are running out? And if you can tell us the number of these vaccines that have been inoculated so far.
I don't want to use the word shortage. It's finished, it's finished. So it's not that it's short. Okay. Do you get it? And there are about 11 districts that we are using across the country. And we gave out about over 50,000 to Ashanti region, and the rest is in Greater Accra. So as your area gets finished, that is it. But we'll try and maybe move some to some other areas to make sure we use them. And let me say that this Johnson & Johnson is going to expire in 2023. So there's no real pressure on it. But I think the pressure is to get people vaccinated. Okay. So when people come, we'll vaccinate them.
So how many of these doses have we given out, and how many do we have left, if you can share that with me?
I can't say offhand, but I think the Ashanti region have used almost all of theirs. Maybe Accra, maybe about 80% has been used. Okay. I'm surprised that by the close of Monday, we have finished using them. Okay.
He also responded to concerns about shortages in some districts. He says the AstraZeneca, which has been delivered to the country, will soon be deployed.
Yes, so the AstraZeneca is actually for those who had the first dose somewhere in March. So it's a second dose for those who had the first one. We are looking at, the first exercise that we did was for persons who had been vaccinated between 1st and 9th of March. So this one is going to be for persons from the 10th of March. We haven't fixed the cutoff yet. But that's going to be the plan. And let me say that this is not sufficient for the total number available. You know, I think we have about 450,000 persons to receive the second dose. So this is going to be, let's say, about 60% of them. We're going to have another consignment of 249,600 in 2 weeks' time, and that one will end the actual gap. So I think that will somewhere next week will come clear when we are starting. What is good is that we have already trained our staff, so we are not going to train any more staff. So when we finish the J&J, they move on to the AstraZeneca deployment.
Any other thing you would want to add?
We still want to say that in as much as we are trying to get an improvement in the vaccination coverages, the key thing is adherence to protocols. We want to urge all Ghanaians to wear the mask and wear the mask at all times. Thank you.
To the Ashanti region now, and the chairperson of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has called on government to make available to nurses the second jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Jones Efrie Anto says though most of them received the first jab, they yet to take the second one after several months of waiting. He spoke at a Nurses and Midwives Week celebration from where Emmanuel Osei has more.
Nurses and other health personnel through the COVAX program received the first jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine. But the nurses are apprehensive 3 months after waiting for the second dose. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association is unhappy government has delayed in providing the second dose. Jones Efrianto is the regional chairman of the association.
The key thing we even want to emphasize is those of us who took the AstraZeneca vaccine, which is supposed to be repeated, which is not coming. Scientifically, after 6 months, we think that there should be an explanation and as to whether the second dose will work. If the gap is too much, it's an emergency. And therefore, we want government to take it seriously and vaccinate all nurses and midwives in the country.
The Regional Health Directorate has announced efforts to get all affected nurses vaccinated. Ashanti Regional Director of Health, Dr. Emmanuel Tinkran, says the Ministry of Health will soon roll out the 4th phase of the vaccination exercise to cover nurses. The assurance comes as government takes over 249,000 doses. Dr. Tinkran also announced efforts by the Health Ministry to phase out certificates in nursing programs.
The assurance is that all those who took the AstraZeneca first dose, who are yet to receive their second dose, will definitely have it because the vaccine has arrived in Ghana. And that's the assurance. So they should be calm. Yeah, they shouldn't rush to go and take the Johnson & Johnson. That's not going to help them. So we want them to wait, and we will give it to them. If we want the universal health care to go on, then the quality of nurses that we need is the quality of nurses that can hold a degree or what? A diploma. You see, when they do that, it helps us a lot because all the certificate people that they are trading, the moment they come back and then assume the service, they want to go back and do another course again. And it goes against the government in the sense that instead of staying in the hospitals to work, they rather apply for study leave to live and go and do the same diploma programs. And that is costing a lot of problems for the service at the lower level. Because you think that the person is there working. Meanwhile, the person agenda is to apply for study leave and then move on.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has appealed to government to phase out all certificates and diploma nursing courses and replace them with degrees. Jones Efrianto again.
If it is employment government you want to create, we agree with them perfectly. Let them train graduate nurses. All those people, they should get a qualification, come to graduate school, train for graduate nurses, and let them come and work.
Some deserving nurses were awarded. Reporting from Kumasi, Emmanuel Osei.
You're watching Johnny's Prime with me, Ernest Minute. Tonight we're asking one question: is Ghana hard?
Frightened of your mama. We know he cannot give your child an education. If you are sitting here somewhere and they keep telling you, oh, it's bad, oh, there's corruption, oh, Ghana is hard, then sometimes you think it's true. So we have to speak back.
In sharing your views with us on Facebook, let's take some more comments. And Justice Reflex says, Ghana is hard. Hamza Ahmed says, hard and corrupt. Augustine Nanakweku Sika Amano says, yes, very hard, very, very hard and hot. Sule Gariba says, I don't think someone in Ghana, well, I don't think someone is in Ghana who would say that the country is not hard. So these are some of your comments on Facebook. You can go on there and also share with us what you think, whether Ghana is hard or not. We're taking a break here on Joy News. When we return, pass the examination or forget about teaching. That's the Education Minister to teachers that failed in the recent examination as the government insists it will not lower the standard.
Came to me that students didn't do well. They brought me sample responses. And Mr. President, it's important that we hold ourselves accountable to a certain standard. That if you want to teach, we need to help you.
And coming up in business, the call for cybersecurity to take center stage in the boardrooms of businesses. We have more from the 2021 Executive Insight Conference organized by Innova in collaboration with Joy Business.
How do you grow when you're not thinking of what can disrupt you? And for the few who were thinking about it, they were not prepared. So if you look at the chart below, very prepared, 3%. Somewhat prepared, 35%. If you put them together, they don't even hit 40%.
Hello and welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. Now, there are calls for cybersecurity to take center stage in the boardrooms of businesses in the country. It is revealed that even 43% of cyber attacks are aimed at businesses, whereas only 14% of these businesses are prepared to defend themselves. There is more from the Executive Insight Conference organized by Novari in partnership with Joy Business on the topic Business Value of Cybersecurity. Here's more.
Some experts at the Executive Insight Conference have opined that cybersecurity is currently as important as the COVID-19 pandemic and other natural disasters. According to them, majority of the assets creating value in companies in the world now is technology, but only 3% of all businesses worldwide are protected from cybersecurity threats. Taking her turn on rethinking cyber resilience and business continuity, Na Adoko Kujo emphasized on the need for companies to look at their downtime and the cost to the company.
Since 2013, cyber incidents have been on the increase 24%. And the frequency of natural disasters keep rising. Just look at 1980 to 2020. To interest you to know that corporate resilience ranked very low on the board agenda, and that's why I have an issue. The board agenda, when they give them a list of issues that keep them awake, what they will be thinking through, corporate resilience was very low. So you can see corporate resilience, 44. Innovation and growth, yes. How do you grow when you're not thinking of what can disrupt you? And for the few who were thinking about it, they were not prepared. So if you look at the chart below, very prepared, 3%. Somewhat prepared, 35%. If you put them together, they don't even hit 40%.
Chief Enablement Officer for APSA, Ebo Richardson, spoke about cybersecurity as one of the key risks companies face, falling in the same category with the COVID-19 pandemic and natural disasters.
We have become so reliant, so dependent on technology that the assets that are creating value for us in our organizations are mostly technology-based. With that high dependence on technology comes the flip side, the risks. And the risks are that these things could be damaged, they could be hacked, etc., eroding the value that you are seeking to create.
CEO of Innovari, CK Bruce, adding his voice, cautioned companies not to leave their data ownership to their service providers.
It is very interesting that once people sign something, it just moves them to be careful, okay? Obviously, this mindset will not move somebody who is intent in doing damage. But the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of the insider threats is actually inadvertent. It is not on purpose. It is the fact that you are not enforcing me, you are not giving me any control, so I can do what I like.
The final speaker, leading the conversation on the real value of cloud for businesses, said any business operating outside this is preparing to die.
Our heartbeat here at Joy Business is that once businesses are compliant, it means that they are still staying in business. And once they're staying in business, we also are in business. We really care about the existence of and continuity of many businesses. And that's why we're looking at business resilience, how risk assessment is done in various businesses to make sure that they really live beyond, a certain time.
Away from that, mobile money fraudsters will now have their numbers and devices blocked across all networks. This was revealed by the chief executive of MTN Ghana at a media engagement organized here in Accra. George Rafi has more.
This was a collective action taken by all the network operators to help deal with the practice, which market watchers say has the potential to erode confidence in the mobile money service. The action took effect 2 months ago. This measure is being rolled out after months of several actions being introduced by the mobile operators to deal with this action. Chief Executive of MTN Ghana, Selo Madadivo, who discloses at the media engagement, said the development calls for some tough measures.
To bring 2Africa to life, it would take somewhere around 2023. The plan is to have some sort of pilot for 5G next year and then start to deploy the necessary infrastructure to support that. Today, our modernization projects ensure that all our sites currently have 5G compliance, and then we'll continue to make sure all our investments today have 5G compliance included. So that work will be done. So we can do a pilot next year, but we'll be able to go specific areas with 5G if we get the permission and we get the spectrum that's required to do this. But to go full steam and commercialize and start to drive a lot of throughput and bandwidth, we'll need the undersea cables to continue to drive that. So
the engagement was part of measures by the mobile operator to engage the media on several actions being taken by the mobile operator to grow its service in the country. MTN Chief Executive Selo Madadivo also announced that they are working to introduce a 5G service from next year.
The 2Africa cable is essentially a very special project that brings a lot of different entities together to do something very special, focused on connecting many countries in Africa, right? So the regulatory requirement is same as we have today as far as undersea cable regulation is concerned and licensing of undersea cable is concerned. So there's no change in regulation required. However, we do need licenses to allow us to build the landing stations and then to have access to use that service within the country. So that work is ongoing currently as we speak.
On the company's outlook, MTN announced that it is poised to become a full digital mobile operator in the country. On plans to give part of the business away, MTN noted that it is not on the table now to do an initial public offering.
And that'll be it for Business. Sports is up next with Ore Kwampo for this day.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on the Joy News Prime with me, Ore Kwampo. We do start off with some big news coming in within the last hour, and that's the president of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo. He has revealed that Ghana's only medalist at the just ended Tokyo Games would receive a car, $10,000 in cash, whilst $20,000 would go into a career development fund. He made the disclosure when the team who represented Ghana at the Games visited him at the Jubilee House today.
You made all of us in Ghana very proud. As a show, a modest show of our gratitude, and on the basis of your individual performances, I'm happy to announce that, 1, each member of the team, it includes everybody involved, will receive a reward of $5,000 United States dollars. The medalist, Samuel Techi, will receive a car, $10,000, an additional $20,000 put in a career development fund for him for the next Olympic Games and future tournaments. In total, the bonuses of the team amount to some $150,000 United States dollars.
Well, that was Samuel Techi there, and what an incredible achievement it's been bringing Ghana a medal in a very, very long time, almost 30 years there. But let's do some football, where coach of the senior national team, Charles Akono, says Ghana's group would be a tough one. Now, the Black Stars would face one-time champions Morocco, 2017 host Gabon, and then would be in a group with Comoros as well. Now, he says that we cannot afford to underestimate our opponent. However, he is confident Ghana can end the 39-year-old AFCON drought.
Well, I think what will take us to win is a bit of brilliance from all of us, good team spirit. And this I call for all of you, including you. I mean, we all have to now change from where we are to a bit of positivity. You know, the fact that I know some people doubt if we'll be able to make it or not. It's not about that again. Now, we've all been yearning for this opportunity to go and win the AFCON. We want to do it. We've all been talking about, but we have been negative. And so we need to change that aspect of our thoughts and thinking. Of course, we don't have any other group of players. The ones we have are the ones we're using now. If you remember the last few matches, we've really maintained a certain crop of players. And that if there's any other player that is good, doing well, we'll bring him in. And that is what we're doing. And we believe that gradually we be able to find ourselves, in a certain way. We understand what we have to do at every given time. Ethics of work on the field of play, we do understand that. And I think we've moved on from a certain position to a very positive. I believe that now the team is positive. The team has found itself. We have structures which will try in this strategy to improve in that area. And I strongly believe in the squad, and I hope all of you will also do that. Like I said earlier on, yes, I understand, because in the last few years we've tried to come closer, and it's not worked. And so we sort of been a bit negative when it comes to the national team, and that.
Well, that was Black Stars coach Charles Akono. Remember, Ghana would be facing Ethiopia on 3rd September and then South Africa 3 days later for the World Cup qualifiers for Qatar 2022. But let's do some more stories, where Youth and Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf has charged Team Ghana to win medals at the Paralympic Games, which begins on August 24th. And now that game, would be in Japan, and he was speaking during the official flag handing ceremony, which happened earlier today.
On behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I want to hand over the flag of our country to the team so that you lift the flag of Ghana high whilst you are participating in the tournament. You saw what our brothers and sisters have done in the main Olympic tournament, which has just ended. The country had the opportunity of coming home with a medal or breaking the drought of Olympic medal for nearly 30 years. And we also saw our athletes putting in effort and qualifying for finals since 1996, I'm told. We saw our weightlifter also performing and even moving from his rank, setting a national record. We also saw our swimmer, Abiyaku Jackson, also setting a national record. So these are remarkable achievements. So I have no doubt at all that the para team are also going to make us proud. But by coming home with not only bronze, but gold.
Well, the Joy Sports team will be bringing you update of the Paralympic Games, which kicks off in 4 days' time. But that's how we wrap up the first part of the sports segment here. My name is Ore Kwampofo.
And Becky is here. She has all the details. Hello, Becky.
Hello to you. It's a Friday, beautiful Friday. Let's talk about Paul Okoye of P-Square fame.
Okay, what's happening to him?
His wife filed for divorce.
Oh, too
bad. Yes, after 17 years. his wife decided that he will file for this. So Anita Okoye, the wife of Nigerian singer Paul Okoye, aka Rude Boy, one half of the defunct music group P Square, has filed for divorce after 17 years together. Anita requested the dissolution of her marriage with Paul as per a partly redacted court document that surfaced the internet today, Friday. According to the petition filed at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Anita cited irreconcilable differences as her reason, asking her man to challenge if he displeases. So basically, that's what's happening. I don't really know, but we wish
let's
them.
See what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Sometimes the court will say go and settle your differences when
yeah.
we hear you, but let's see what happens.
This weekend on Outlook, we're concentrating on details of composing music. So here's what to expect on Outlook.
So with this, we could just have different variations at every point of the song. Maybe put a little bit of violins in when the chorus comes in, put some guitars when the verse is coming. That's it. We have a full R&B stroke Afro fusion. An idea is basically, let's say if you pick someone's sample and you get innovative with it, it becomes an idea or it becomes yours because you know, add your own stuff or probably just switch it around a little. But when you pick on, you know, note for note,
that is something.
That is something. You know, beat for beat, note for note.
And is that
Rhythm.
easy, or that is actually pretty difficult because you're lifting from somebody else's work?
Yeah, every part of the work is hard because trying to pick somebody's work that is so good to imitate.
So that beat got there, so expect more this weekend on the Outlook show.
Becky, thank you very much for the
Anytime.
latest in the world of showbiz. We have more for you. Don't go away. Education Minister Yaosei Duchum is unhappy with the high failure rate in the recent licensure exam despite the lowering of the pass mark. Out of the 27,455 candidates who sat for the 2020 examination, 8,442 failed to meet the pass mark. The number represents 30.7% of the total candidates who sat for the exam in October last year. A statement from the National Teaching Council said 19,013 teachers, representing 69.3%, passed the exam. There have been calls for a review of the or abolition of the policy, but government says this has come to stay. In an interactive session with leadership of the National Union of Ghana Students, the Education Minister said there's the opportunity for those who failed to resit.
They do the main one where all the colleges of education students participate. And then there's another off-season one where those who did not pass will then have opportunity to resit. And then also those who did distance education can then resit. Now, the last one that they did, a report came to me that students didn't do well. They brought me sample responses. And Mr. President, it's important that we hold ourselves accountable to a certain standard. That if you want to teach, we need to help you to really have the requisite skills to teach. I don't want to even talk about the pass mark which was set. It was brought so low, yet some people did not bring the cut. Those who were doing resit, some of them were able to make it. Those who did it for the first time, about 78% were able to pass 2 out of the 3, 78%. But if you look at those who passed all the 3 for the first time, it was about 23%. And they have opportunity to sit again and be able to pass it, just like those who did resit and was able to make it. So I had discussions with the NTC, National Teaching Council, and another exams is coming up. I also instructed that they need to have a web portal with thousands of questions for people to have the opportunity to practice, because you don't want people to walk into an exam to do it and they don't have the benefit of sample questions that they can use to prepare for the exam. So NTC have taken it up as a responsibility to make sure sample questions are available and that they can even do a sample, just like we prepare for exams anywhere in the world. You really have to give them something.
President Akufo-Addo is backing fully the licensure examination for teachers introduced in 2018 to give them the requisite certification to practice here in Ghana. He says the quality must be maintained.
I don't think there can be any question about the need for us to maintain high standards in this area. It took us quite a long journey to arrive at the need for the exams in the first place. But I think that by and large, the argument has been won about the necessity for the exams. Teachers' measurable standards for allowing people entering into the profession. I think it makes a lot of sense. But some of the structural problems that they have to address the mass failure that I heard from you have been identified by the minister, and I think that by and large, I think it's a satisfactory explanation.
The Council of State has presented to President Akufo-Addo the outcome of its deliberations on the petition demanding the removal of the Chief Justice and Anti-Corruption Civil Society Organization, Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability, ASEPA, filed the petition over the Chief Justice's alleged involvement in a $5 million bribery scandal. The chairman of the Council of State, Nana Oto-Serebo, presented the findings as to whether a case has been established against the CJ to warrant impeachment. Here's what they have.
Today we are here specifically, Mr. President, to give you our response to a letter that we received from the presidency under your hand, Mr. President, dated the 26th of July, 2021. In the third letter, we referred to a petition that had been sent to you by ASEPA, which petition demanded the impeachment of the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana following allegations that had been made against him. In line with the demands of the Constitution as enshrined under Article 146123, and in line with the decisions of the Supreme Court, Mr. President, you are obliged to determine whether a prima facie case had been made, which determination would therefore precede the process of impeachment. In line with the performance of your constitutional duty, as I said earlier, you sent this letter to us. We have looked at the petition together with the annexes and the documents that were presented with the petition, and also the principles of the case law as enunciated in the case of Ajay-Chum versus the Republic.
The president received the findings but said details cannot be disclosed.
Intervention you have made. It's a pity that we've not had a chance to have a general meeting before this specific matter, but there it is. These things happen and we have to move on. I'll obviously have a close look because my understanding is that Ajay-Chum and another versus the Attorney General, which is the case law that has settled the understanding of Article 1467, which is binding on all of us, myself included, requires that I consult with you to make this determination of whether the petition that had been sent to me has raised some prima facie case warranting the establishment of a committee, that preliminary step. I understand that the process of the impeachment of the Chief Justice, indeed, of justices of the Supreme Court, are meant to be in-camera proceedings, so that the contents of the consultation between the two of us, your side is in the letter and my own is also there, will for the time being remain confidential until we're in a position to announce the result of it to the world. But I have first to thank you very much for the assiduous and punctual manner in which you continue to carry out your functions as Council of State.
Let's talk about mining now. The High Court in Kumasi has set aside a $15.3 million galamsey judgment entered against the government last year for the seizure of machinery, equipment and monies belonging to Heritage Imperial Company. The plaintiff, by the Interministerial Committee, tasked to check illegal mining in 2018. The court, presided over by His Lordship Justice Samuel Diewo, had exactly a year ago held in a judgment after trial that the invasion of the plaintiff's mining site and the seizure of the excavators and other equipment was unlawful. The court had at the time also ordered recovery of the sum of $15 million, being the value of the machinery and the equipment from the plaintiff's side, by the Interministerial Committee to check, that is task force to check illegal mining. Now, general damages of 500,000 Ghana cedis and cost of 100,000 Ghana cedis against the state was awarded. The ruling to set aside the judgment was delivered on July 30, 2021. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me on Zoom with details of this particular case. Kweku, what was the AG's argument in this case?
All right, Dennis. So it's important that we set the background for this case. We know that Heritage Imperial, like you've just read, went to court over some seizure of its materials and alleged that they were in the position to reclaim all those from the state. The High Court judge, this same High Court judge, Samuel Obindiewu, then ordered the state to
proceed,
as it were, pay these amounts of money to Heritage Imperial Limited. But then the Attorney General went to court again and argued that the endorsements, the specifics of the payments had not been stated on this application for restitution. And so the court agreed that in such matters, if you want to be able to reclaim certain sums of money from the state, you must have had on your application or the writ of summons the relevant endorsements for the state to be able to pay that amount of money. So the Attorney General literally went on the grounds of technicalities and has been able to secure this judgment where the court said that the amount of money that he ordered the state to pay to Heritage Imperial must not be paid anymore.
So what exactly is the ruling today? Specifics?
Right, so the specifics of this ruling by the court is that the amount of monies that were supposed to be paid to Heritage Imperial for the destruction of their mining materials will not be paid anymore. Not because they do not have a case, not because the specific allegations that they make against the state do not stand, but because on the face of the application, they did not state the relevant endorsements in terms of the cost and what exactly they wanted. One leg of this is that when you are making certain demands from the state, you must pay the requisite filing fees. But because these amounts of money were not stated on the application of Heritage Imperial, then it meant that per the rules of court, the court should not have even seized itself with the jurisdiction to go ahead and hear the case. And so for this basis, the court has decided that the state ought not pay this $15 million to Heritage Imperial over these technicalities.
Thank you very much for breaking down the details for us from the court today. That's my colleague Kweku Asante there. Now, the committee tasked to investigate the cause of the recent Makola market fires, recommending that the burnt building is pulled down. The committee says the building poses a serious risk to people who occupy it. The building at the heart of the Makola market was ravaged by fire more than 72 hours. In an interview with Joy News, Matilda Wemega, the Accra Mayor Mohammed Nieche says the committee also established that a generator set started the fire that engulfed a bigger part of the building and destroyed merchandise and personal items worth thousands of Ghana cedis.
Findings include the fact that there was low pressure of water from the water hydrants within the central business district, although there's water flowing. Hence, the water tankers have to go far. You know, the fire service had to go far to go and replenish stock and come back. The second reason is that, in fact, the main cause of the fire was the fact that the traders complained that there were some erratic power outages. Hence, they resort to the use of their generators. But from the electricity company's control room, there was no evidence of power outage. However, we also saw naked and exposure of wires, and probably that could also trigger the power fluctuations within there. But the main cause of the fire was the fact that there was a generator which was set on, and the generator ignited fire, which caught a hanging banner and then spread in the buildings. So, but within 10 minutes, the fire service team managed to come there to come and control the fire, which lasted for 4 days. Let me also say that we also realized that about 90% of the shops there own fire extinguishers, but we're very suspicious that most of the fire extinguishers had expired. The committee contracted engineers to assess the integrity of the building, and it was very clear, and the recommendation was that because the building was weak and compromised, it ought to be pulled down. So with the support of the real private owners, we've contracted the 48th Regiment engineers to pull the building down on this Sunday at dawn.
So is there going to be compensation? Is there any plan for the traders who used to occupy that space?
Okay, so the Ministry of Trade and Industry, through the Ghana Enterprise Fund Agency, had a comforting package for the traders based on assessment also by NADMO and the agency themselves. And this is a directive from the Minister, Honorable Kojo Alan Shamantin, on this matter.
So you heard from the mayor there that the building comes down on Sunday. Well, we have been getting reaction from the traders who occupy that space in Makola.
Now that the building is about to be broken down, there's nothing we can do about it. And this is where we get our daily bread. We just need a place to sit to be able to sell. We hardly made any sales since the building got burnt. It is just by the grace of God. We have really been disturbed since the building got burnt. But because of our families, we have to come around. We are okay if the building is brought down so we can get a better place. Sales are low, but we are hopeful things will come back to normal.
2 months a business
we are aware the building will be demolished on Sunday, and we are to take out some of the items that remained after the fire. We have been home after the fire destroyed most of our items. We are pleading with government to support us financially and also help construct the building as soon as possible. For now, we are dependent on those who own the building and those who are responsible to construct the structure again. If it will take a year or 2 to complete the building, that would determine if we'll come back soon or not. We have low sales, and those who were able to get a few items after the fire are those who are selling by the roadside.
The National Schools Inspectorate Authority says it is negotiating with government to start posting trained teachers to private schools and also supply textbooks. According to the authority, the move is meant to ensure equity, fairness and quality education in Ghana. The Ghana National Association of Private Schools says their members have been brooding over huge operational costs in running schools due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. But speaking at the association's 27th conference in Cape Coast, Director General of the National Schools Inspectorate Authority, Dr. Hilda Ampedu, told the leadership of the schools their pleas are being considered. Richard Kojinako has more on the following report.
The 27th conference of the Ghana National Association of Private Schools brought some smiles to the leadership of the schools as it was announced government would soon start posting trained teachers to the private schools to teach. That's not all. The private schools would also soon be beneficiaries of government's textbooks. Director General of the National Schools Inspectorate Authority, Dr. Hilda Ampedu, says discussions are ongoing with the Ministry of Education to implement that.
Additionally, the authority is currently in negotiations on behalf of private schools with the Honorable Minister of Education, the Honorable Dr. Yawose Edichum, on some interventions such as distribution of textbooks to private schools, posting of trained teachers who have not been absorbed by the public school system to the private school system. We believe that we are also educating Ghanaian children and should benefit from the same coffers. As stated earlier, NASIA during the various mediation meetings encouraged parents to work closely with school leadership to amicably resolve issues. Equally, proprietors were advised to reinvigorate their role of PTAs as partners in educating the Ghanaian children. We found out that during most of our mediations, most of the schools that had very vibrant PTAs that were in support of school leadership, the PTAs were speaking for the school leadership. And it was only a few disgruntled parents who were the ones causing the problem. And the PTAs were able to quench it at the school level without us even having to intervene. So we encourage you to work well with your PTAs. Also, I heard the acting president's plea that he doesn't want the schools closed. The schools will not be closed down if we are adhering to the protocols and we are decreasing our numbers. But where we continue to report increasing numbers, then you are leaving the health service no choice. So let's all plan to adhere by this protocol so that we can all reduce the numbers. Then we can make a stronger case for why the schools shouldn't be closed down.
Acting president of the association, Dr. Damasos Churosong, indicated many private schools have folded up while others are struggling to break even as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. He, however, says in spite of the difficulties, they hope to pull through with the support of government.
Research conducted by NAPS and confirmed by other studies shows that the 10-month closure of schools last year has caused us financial difficulties for our schools. Not only are schools struggling to pay debts incurred last year, many schools are unable to break even this academic year owing to two major factors. First, it is 30 to 40% more expensive to run a private school today in the era of COVID-19 than it was in normal times. This is the result of the need for us to supply PPEs, enforce social distancing in our classrooms, school buses, dormitories, dining hall, etc. Obviously, social distancing comes with the need for more space and the need to engage more staff to take care of the learners entrusted.
The association says it would in the coming days be knocking on the doors of government with so many requests to enable the private schools survive. Richard Kwejenyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Still on education, the first phase of the Creative Arts Senior High School at Kwadaso in the Ashanti region is scheduled to be ready for use by February 2022. Stakeholders are upbeat about the school's contribution to the growth of the creative arts industry. Minister of Education Dr. Yawose Edichum said the school is designed to serve as a hub for producing creative art talent in Africa. Prince Apia has more.
This is the whole layout over here, the staff block, and then the administration and library.
That's the project contractor explaining to the Education Minister the state of the Creative Arts Senior High School. Launched in 2016, construction is progressing to meet completion schedule. Minister of Education Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum was impressed with the level of work during an inspection of the project site.
Phase 1 is going to be the classroom block, what we call the V block, constructed, boys' dormitory finished, girls' dormitory finished, dining hall completed, headmaster's bungalow, which is now completed, and assistant headmaster administration block. That will be the phase 1. Other facilities will come. And also the school have 12 laboratories. So it's not going to be the place where we only do the arts, but all the students are also going to do science. Because you know sci-fi movies are science-based, but the people who are able to bring it about are the people with creative talents.
The first phase of the project is expected to be ready by next academic year, which starts in February 2022. Dr. Osei-Duchum says government's move is to whip up the interest of the youth to learn creative arts in a more refined way.
The boys is about 500. We're going to be recruiting students with creative art talent from across the country to come here and study, to create the next Kumawood, and make sure we have to get to a point where we have creative art talents that will be the best in the world. And that is what this school is about. The vision of the president is very clear. That as he promotes science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, he doesn't have to leave behind the arts, which when you combine becomes STEAM. So today we are here to see the progress. This school is to do its phase 1 opening in the next academic year, which begins in January, February, thereabouts. So we've been assured by December the phase 1 will be completed. And when that happens, we can open the doors of this school to learners from across the country. Some children are naturally gifted and they are talented in the creative arts. They don't have a school to go to. So this is the place where the gifted and talented across the country will come and hone in their skills. So that when we're talking about the next Michael Jacksons of the world, this is where you come and find them. This is where they will be nurtured. This is where the whole world will come and recruit African talent.
Member of Parliament for the Kwadaso constituency, Samuel Kwadwo Nuyama, says the school will contribute to the socio-economic development of the Kwadaso community and its environs.
You know, the perception that it's only grammar schools that are important for economic transformation is not totally correct. And I think that there are a lot of untapped talents in the country, especially in Kwadaso. And we believe that this particular institution will help us to unravel these talents that are crucial in our socio-economic development and transformation.
Meanwhile, operationalization processes are ongoing, awaiting recruitment of teachers and instructors. Contractors assure the minister work will be completed on schedule. Prince Apia reporting.
This is Johnny's Prime with me, Ernest Min. We have more business news for you after this break. Please stay.
Yeah, welcome back to business. The Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Kwekwe Frie, has assured government will absorb electricity charges of all Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Speaking during a familiarization tour of the institute, the minister said since electricity is an important input needed by research institutions to effectively run the operations, government will do everything possible to support them. There is more in this report.
The tour was aimed at interacting with staff of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research to have a first-hand information about their operations. Dr. Kwekwe Frie urged scientists to be good marketers of their products to be able to attract both the local and international markets. According to him, Ghanaian innovations can be commercialized to boost the economy.
Value addition and lack of market access. Ladies and gentlemen, admittedly, the onus in addressing most of these challenges rests on the research and development institutions such as the CSIR, FRN, here too.
The minister used the opportunity to call on scientists to be vocal about their achievements. He believes this will attract investors and tourists to patronize made-in-Ghana innovations.
The potential of your research efforts are not being realized. because communication between scientists, extension officers, and farmers still remain very weak. I know that under the arrangement, you have to go through several, allied sectors so that you can get to extension workers and so on.
Director General of the Institute, Professor Victor Ajima, in his remarks said the CSIR is working to be competitive on the international market through scientific and technological research.
Our vision as Institute is to be recognized nationally and internationally as science and technology institute playing key role in the transformation of the food processing industry and to become internationally competitive.
The Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has the mandate to lead the country into the development and shaping of science policy and the promotion of information technology and innovation in Ghana.
Now, one of the challenges indigenous businesses face while expanding beyond the borders of Ghana is the ability to maintain international standards. For this reason, acquiring an ISO certification has become a big boost for such businesses in competing with foreign companies. The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority disclosed this in Tema as BAJ Freight and Logistics Limited received its triple ISO certification. Here's more.
In 2009, 3 shareholders, Fred Simpson, Atukwe Green, and Joseph Kujobani began a journey to build a world-class company in Ghana. For close to 12 years, the indigenous business, BAJ, has grown from 15 staff to 250 staff, providing international freight forwarding, customs brokerage services, and radioactive and explosive transport. With its footprint beyond oil and gas sector, the company has received ISO 9001-2015 Quality Management System, ISO 14001-2015 Environmental Management System, and ISO 45001-2018 Occupational Health and Safety Management System. By receiving these certificates, Director General of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Luguje, is asking BAJ to target other parts of the continent with its success. He says the company's numerous awards must continue to reflect in its operations.
They have consolidated their position, not just serving local imports, but serving oil and gas industry, which is global. All the brand names across the world in terms of the oil majors have been, at one point or the other, customers to BAJ Freight. So it means that their penetration into other countries around this West and Central Africa or Africa, they wouldn't be new anymore. Because don't forget, in a lot of the oil and gas sector, majority of the oil majors are the same companies operating in other countries as well. So BAJ can enter now into any other economy where it is about their area of operation with ease, thanks to the origins Ghana gave to them.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of BAJ Freight and Logistics, Joseph Kujobani, says the ISO certification will spur them on to greater heights.
We have been able to build a logistics company to a level that we can compete favorably with any other international companies. Now, our advantage here is that we are Ghanaians, and when we work, whatever we bring in stays here. We employ Ghanaians. You see, so I'll say that the sky is the limit for where we've got into, and with encouragement from officialdom, we should grow and grow bigger and employ more Ghanaians.
Stakeholders in the maritime space, traditional authority, customs, among others, were present to support the company cut tape and dedicate its office complex.
Now, government has indicated its expectations that the current spike in food prices will be normalized by December. The Deputy Minister for Agric spoke to Joy Business, interacting with my colleague George Rafi on PM Express Business Edition.
We call it case-by-case basis. Okay. certain crops, for example, yams. We cannot say the same thing about yams in terms of hikes in prices and shortage on the market. It's because we started harvesting the first yams late July, August. So yam, when you go to the market, it's in abundance. Because of that, the prices, it's a demand and supply, playing some tricks on everybody. The prices are stable there right now. When it comes to things like the vegetables especially, some of them quite expensive now. It's because a lot of the farmers are here to harvest the vegetables that they cultivated, they planted. And if you take maize, a lot of farmers are yet to harvest the maize that they cultivated this year. August and this September, some of them will begin to harvest theirs. And when these things come onto the market, November, December, naturally, prices will go down, naturally.
So it appears that for your September is no longer the timeline you're working with now. You're looking at October, November.
Exactly, because that's where they begin to harvest.
Yeah.
So we cannot have a lot of them on the market at the same time.
Practically, yes. All other things being equal,
that's right.
We are now looking at somewhere around October, November that we will see these prices coming down for everyone.
Yeah, they will come down naturally.
Is that a surety for you?
Sure, by Christmas, this wouldn't be.
But some will say that people are, and we get the calls every day in the newsroom, we get people complain that people are still dealing with the spike in hiking prices of foodstuffs since this year, and they have to contend with that till October, November.
See, there have been some shortages on the market, no doubt about it.
It's not a policy failure, you think?
No.
And that'll be it for business. I'm Charles Ayet. I'll leave you with a summary of international business news, after which sports will be next to stay.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the second part of the sports segment with me, Rick Wamp. Before we do start off with some football news, where Wafu Zombi Championship has made Hazakis ladies a target of many clubs in the main edition of the Women's Champions League to be staged in Egypt. This is according to their head coach of the team, Yusuf Basigi, and he's been speaking to Joy Sports. Now, Basigi claims beating a team from Nigeria in the final shows they are capable of winning the ultimate title.
Targeting it not because we won this one, but
it's certainly giving you a bit more belief that you can.
Yes, and there is even edging us on, because right now they are looking up to Azakes Lady, but not Reverse Angels. You see, we won convincingly, and people are now imagining which team is Hazakes Ladies from Ghana that beat Nigeria 3-1. So we'll be targets. And for that matter, we have to also lift up our game, lift up our everything to another level. Because this is not a time to relax. This is not a time for us to feel that, oh, we are champion. That one is over. WAFU is over. Now we are going to the main championship. And we also want to set another record because we are setting the pace and it is not over yet. WAFU is gone. And now we are looking up to the championship, which of course, just as the other clubs are also coming for the trophy in Egypt, we are also going in for the trophy in Egypt.
Well, that was the first time, remember, it was the first edition, so it's the first time that any Ghanaian women's team would be participating in the Women's Champions League. Well, that's how we wrap up the sports here on the Joy News Prime. My name is Orek Wampofo, and do enjoy a fantastic weekend.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to myjoyonline/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.